This is an educational business, isn't it? Right. First, I would like to ask, if I may, why we're all being so educated. What is the purpose of education? Why are we educated at all? We're asking this question because one sees what is happening in the world, the wilderness of the world, the great catastrophes that are taking place, violence, terrorism, and all that. Immoral, a society that is thoroughly immoral. So one asks, what is the meaning of education? Why are we educated? And will all education lead to this chaos? I think it is a fundamental question which one should ask. Will our children, our students, grow up to be like the rest of the world? Well educated academically, and totally disregard the other parts of human existence, the psychological, inward cultivation and flowering of all that. I do not know how you would answer this question if put to you. Is education concerned with only one part of the human existence, that is the cultivation of memory, which is called knowledge, gathering information, and according to that information, knowledge, act efficiently, sanely, rationally, objectively, or with that knowledge become mischievous in the world, which apparently what's going on now. Are we concerned with partial cultivation of the mind and not at all concerned with the whole of the human existence? Fears, sorrows, the ending of sorrow, love, compassion, all that is involved seems to me in the proper kind of education. But now we are only concerned, as it appears, and I may be wrong, that we give our minds to the partial cultivation of human beings. If that is so, that is, we are not cultivating the whole of human being, but only a very small part of it, then how is it possible to consider, go into this question of the flowering of human goodness? Is that possible in a school, through college and so on? Seems to me that's one of the most important thing, and not merely cultivating the brain along a particular line. Is it possible, psychologically, inwardly, under the skin as it were, to bring about a different human being through right kind of education? Human being who has technical knowledge and so act skillfully in a world that is in which he has to live, earn a livelihood and so on, but also cultivate or the unexplored psychological ground, so that out of that cultivation, the flowering of goodness can come into being. Is that at all possible? In a school, with parents who are concerned, is it possible to bring about this? Or we have lastingly committed to one pattern of activity and disregard the rest? I think this is a very serious question when you are concerned with education. The total disregard, as it appears right throughout the world, wherever one goes, most human beings are concerned only with the cultivation of that part of the brain which is memory, so that that memory can be used skillfully or unskillfully in earning a livelihood. The rest of the human mind is totally disregarded. That is what I would like to discuss, if we may. Whether the parents are interested in this, whether the school here is concerned with that, and can there be a group of people who are, I won't use the word dedicated, a rather strong word, who are deeply concerned with the total cultivation of a human mind. That means the mind includes the physiological as well as psychological states. After saying that, can we discuss around this? If I was a parent, what would I be concerned with? In an overpopulated world, for any one particular job, there are thousands of applications, perhaps not in America, but the rest of the world. If you go to India, you see this phenomenon. A PhD offered to be a cook in India. Not to be a cook is wrong, but spending years of study, college, university, and so on, getting a degree, not finding a job, and becoming a cook. This is happening in the world over. I don't know if you're aware of all these things. And if I was a parent, what should I do? How can I help my son or my daughter to demand not only the excellence of technological knowledge, but also the excellence of moral behavior, excellence in my relationship with others, and excellence in the cultivation of love. I would demand that of a school or a college or a university. If they do not supply all that, what shall I do? Apparently the world is not concerned with all that. The universities are not concerned with it. Colleges and schools, it has no meaning to them. But I have a couple of children, and I love them, and I want them to be totally different human beings, not the mediocrity of the world. What shall I do? You understand, sir? That's my problem. What's my responsibility? If you say don't have children, that's a different matter. But unfortunately or fortunately, we have children. What shall I do with them? We'll take care of them with such great care when they're babies, with such pain, with such tenderness, and so on. And after the age of 5 or 6 or 7, they disappear. We've lost them. They are conditioned by the rest of their children. The school conditioned them much more, and so on, right through life, right through university. And they are there caught in a pattern which seems so difficult to break through. So what is my responsibility as a parent? If I take the responsibility really very seriously, what is a parent to do if he demands this? And most parents, unfortunately, I may be wrong, do not want all this. They want their children, especially in the West and the East, and not America, to have a good degree, to get a job, if they can, and settle down to the good old pattern of life, the establishment. You may overthrow the old establishment, but you can form another new establishment. The new becomes the old, and so on. The pattern is repeated over and over again, whether it's the communist world or in the democratic world and all the rest of it. One has observed this very closely if you travel, as the speaker does, India, Europe, America, and other parts of the world, you see this phenomenon going on endlessly. tradition, religious conditioning, or when you come to the West here, neither tradition nor discipline, nothing. They are allowed to do what they want. That's psychological freedom, as they call it. You know this pattern very well. And I have two daughters, two children. What am I to do? Throw them to the wolves? I can't keep them at home. I haven't the time. I have to go out and earn a livelihood, get money supply. But my wife also wants to go out. She says, I don't want the burden, the boredom of having children. Right, sir? So that's what's happening here in this country. So what is my responsibility and your responsibility if you have children? Are we concerned at all with society? And the transformation of that society? As it is, which is greatly immoral, and my children will become like them, will adapt themselves to a society which says, kill and be killed. You know, the whole pattern is this.
Sir, it seems as though our responsibility is to raise the children rightly. However, we often don't know how to do that. I'm not asking for a method or a technique or approach, but oftentimes when we're confronted with the children directly, we see insensitivity, and you try to approach that, and you become nagging. It's like you're nagging the children because you see it and you are in a relationship and you want to.
So does, if to answer that question, discuss it, does the educator needs education? Does the educator need to be educated? Or he thinks, not you, sir, or does he think he knows all about it? He has got his ideas, his opinions, his judgments, his conditioning. You follow my question? And so, you condition him, as well as the society, his parents, his other students, and so on. He's molded and shaped and brought out into some extraordinary, ugly human being. The student comes conditioned, and the teacher comes unconditioned. Right, sir? What shall we do? That's the problem. What shall we do?
If I may ask, sir, why are we only concerned about the education of children, education in a very broad sense?
That's what we're doing now, sir.
I think it's really inseparable from from the parents' education, from our own education, if you wish.
That's what
I think we have to see ourselves and have to face ourselves. Have to face ourselves not only in the relationship to the children, but everybody around. I feel that our true moral virtue lies in educate, teach, and learn the process of learning itself in ourselves.
I understand, sir. I'm asking. The parents are conditioned, and they condition the children. His other friends and the age condition him. So the parent is conditioned, the educator is conditioned, the children are conditioned, right? Now, how do we get out of this dilemma? Could we? Sorry, go ahead, sir. Would it be possible for the teacher, for the educator and the parent to come off their pedestal as parents and teachers and explain to his children or to the student that you are conditioned and I am conditioned, right? Let us see if it is possible for both of us to uncondition ourselves. Not wait till I uncondition myself and then come that impossible position. But to acknowledge to the student that he is conditioned and that the educator is conditioned. You establish a totally different relationship, don't you, with the child, with the student. So you go into this whole problem of being conditioned. Will the educator do that, or the parent do that? It comes same thing, because the parent is really an educator. And together with the parent, with the teacher, with the educator and the student, go into this problem together.
In this school, some of the children who I work with are 5 years old.
Yes,
don't understand.
they are 5 years old. You can't discuss with them, poor things.
I don't want to continually discuss this.
No, you can't discuss this thing. They can't. Their brains won't stand this.
Even at 7.
But you can create an atmosphere in which they begin to perceive certain things that are being told actually verbally.
Wait, if you're 5 or 7, there's some advantage. You said intellectually, but they may not. It's perhaps possible because they haven't lived as long as they're not as conditioned.
The one?
If somebody's 5 or 2 or 7, you can't discuss it intellectually perhaps, but you can learn a lot because it may happen, since they've lived shorter, if they've been lucky, that they're not going to be as conditioned. So
Yes,
you can
sir.
learn
Yes,
from
sir.
them,
That is.
even if you can't discuss it.
That is both the parent, the student, and the educator are all concerned. Not just the educator. Can we do this? That implies I won't mention. What does it imply, sir?
Well, you did mention that it implies coming off the pedestal, but if we come off the pedestal...
No, what is implied when the parent, the educator, and the student or the children are concerned with this central issue? Because otherwise we have become like machines, repeating, perhaps in a different pattern, but it's still within within the area of making patterns and living within those patterns. So how do we approach this problem? Because when I'm in India and other parts of the world, there are schools, Rockwood in India, we discuss this question very, very seriously with older children, older students. Are we concerned with the unfolding of our own consciousness as well as the student and the parent? Are we concerned with the exploration of our consciousness? Which is conditioned, right? Not according to Freud and latest psychologist who writes half a dozen books and thrusts out a new theory.
I feel, sir, that in our everyday activities, one thing is inevitable, that is that we relate. I may even claim generally that human action is relationship. And through this relationship, we relate to our children, we relate to others, we relate to the material around us, and so on and so on. But during and within this relationship, there is an action taking place within our own mind, and one has to be aware of it, or become aware of it at the beginning, and see what takes place, let's call it outward, which is the surface of the relationship, as well as inward, that is what is taking place within our own mind. And if one does that, in relationship to the child, he will feel, he will come upon it, maybe together with the child, what that particular relationship, what that event, what that action really contains, what its reality, what its actuality is. And one seeing in himself will relate to the children, in which the children has an opportunity, a potential to possibly see himself. Whether he does or not, we do not know, and we may be concerned about it, yet that action has to take place within the child. The only thing I can do is relate to the child with my own actions being complete.
Now, so what is complete action? What is action which is whole?
As I see it, sir, when there is a harmony within the body, mind, and what I call this complementary something, if that takes place, there is an action which through relationship to others.
Yes, but sir, that generally doesn't take place. This is a theory, isn't it?
Generally true that it, in most of the cases it doesn't take place.
So now, what shall we do? That my question is, you are a parent, there is your children, the educator. How shall we work together as an educator, student, parent? How shall we work together? Together. Because you are responsible for him as well as the educator. How shall we work together or cooperate together to bring about a different mind, a different quality of a human being? If you have a theory, and I have another theory, we should be at each other's side. And the poor child suffers. This is generally what happens. The parents want something, the mother wants something else, and the teacher wants totally something. You follow? He's caught between all. He's so utterly confused. He gives it up at the end and runs away or does kind of some wild thing. So, we are working together. That if that is a fact, without theories, right? Without my having a conclusion and you having a different conclusion. And if I have it, I become aware of it and put it aside. And you do the same, and the educator does the same, then we can work together. But we are not aware that we have got theories, conclusions, opinions, judgments, and very obstinate about our own ideas. You follow? And therefore there's constant contradiction going on. And the child suffers. So, what shall we do? The fact, not a theory. What shall we do together, cooperate, help each other to see that the parent, the student, the educator bring about, not only in the student but in themselves, a different quality of mind and human behavior and so on, so on, so on. Or do you think this is utterly impossible? If it is utterly impossible, then the game is up. You throw in the sponge and carry on. But if it is possible, as I think it is possible, what should we do then? You, the parent, the educator, and the student. What is our chief concern? What's our main demand of each other, of the child? What would you say, sirs and ladies? Or should I say ladies first and sirs after? What shall we do?
Sir, you asked also, what is our chief concern? In terms of the actual functioning of the school on a daily basis.
Before the function of the school, let's get at the principle of it, at the root of it. What shall we do? You are a teacher. I am a parent. I have sent, and we are both concerned to work together. Both concerned not to condition the child, to help the child to flower, to be a different, totally different human being, not to produce a mediocre, you follow all the rest of it. What shall we do? Don't say, what shall we do about little things.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to get to a principle.
In principle, get to the root of it first, together.
When we are actually functioning in the school, I'll get to a principle. The problem which confronts us is the child's behavior and what shall we do about the child's behavior. It seems to be a question of action.
Yes.
The child's action and our action.
Yes.
When you
Yes.
ask what shall we do, is this the same as asking what is right action?
What is right action? What shall we do, sir? There it is. You are a teacher, there is the student. How should we meet this problem?
By facing it moment to moment, maybe with the child, maybe with the other parent, in everyday action, every time, do this, be concerned. And concern would mean more than being concerned of one given subject, but subjects as they come along. Maybe others raise it, maybe the child raises it, maybe my action, a consequence of my action raises it. But at the time when I face it, and facing may need some explanation, when I do go to the root of it, as the circumstance offers it to do so. The circumstance may be the participation of the child himself, and that may set a tone, may set a depth to the expression of it. Not the depth as far as I am going, but the expression of it. I think this moment-to-moment facing it through the relationship to the child or other parents is teaching. It already includes education. I don't think one has to go any further than that. Otherwise, he already thinks there is a need to help. And I think then the question of why one has to help another comes up. I think through relationship, help comes on its own.
So you used the word, you repeated the word relationship.
Yes.
What does it mean?
I think every action, what we can explain, what we can see, what we can touch, expresses a relatedness.
Yes, but what do you mean when you say relationship with the student, or with your children, or with the other parent who are working together? What do you mean relation by that word? Word, the meaning of that word, the significance, the depth of that word. What does it mean?
To me, it means the subject which may come up the way as I'm approaching that subject together with the child or with the parents expresses a type of a
No, sir, I think we're not understanding each other. I'm asking the actual meaning of the word.
It's in communication. You have a complete communication.
an effect on one another, the action-reaction.
Or to see the child as he really is, care enough to see him as he is, not doing something with him or for him, or how I think he should be.
I'm definitely saying of that being not part of it. Yet I use the word that we do relate.
Sure.
His action takes place from the child and I also.
You're not answering, forgive me, you're not answering my question. What do you mean by that word? The content of that word, the significance, the depth of that word itself, not outward expression of it. I'm related, I have 2 children, and a wife and 2 children. What is my relationship to them? Actual, not theoretical, not hypothetical, but actual relationship.
What should it be, you ask?
Huh?
What should it be?
What is the actual daily relationship between the mother, the father, and his children, their children? The actual.
There are various states of changes within the 2 children and the mother, and those changes from instant to instant have a connection to one another. That is talking to one another, that is doing things and affecting each other. Act on one inspiring the other, requesting one from the other. All this means relating to one another.
Is that an actual fact, sir? Fact. The actuality of daily relationship between the mother, the father, and the student, and therefore the teacher, follow the educator, and so on. What is the actual daily relationship? Parent goes off to earn a livelihood, right? He has very little time for the child. Gets home tired. The mother goes off also earning money. The children sent off to a school. So where is the relationship?
Yes, I can see your point, that that is a word used for the activities which really...
I mean, it has no meaning.
Right. That is another type of relationship in which everything relates to everything.
It has no meaning when I say the parent, my children. He goes off, she goes off, especially in this country, and left children to school. They come home, tired, rather annoyed with each other, irritable, send off the children, either television, you follow. I'm afraid we use that word rather glibly, saying we are elite, we are all, etc., etc. But the actual fact is, we are not. And here, the parent, the teacher, and the student, we are trying to establish a real relationship, which means we are deeply concerned with the child, with our children.
Yeah, but is here, so this fundamental, this question started with what do we do, right? Now, that's hard. I mean, but first I want to get clear what we're trying to do, and I understand that better. I find the word I would use is dissolve.
Dissolve.
Well, because what happens is, I'm thinking now of teaching, but it doesn't matter whether it's at the home. The idea is you come in with all this garbage or something, and I don't know how to set up a school to get that, and I don't know how to do it as much as I like or at all, but at least I'm going to be clear about the phenomena I want, and it's some dissolving. Like if there's a 2-year-old there and I'm here, drop that. He's 2, I'm here, I'm the parent. If you can dissolve all the stuff, then the actions and the principles seem to follow very naturally. So the problem seems to be dissolve all this stuff.
All right, sir. Let's use the word, if you like, that word dissolve. Put aside, wash away, wipe away. Which means what? Wipe away your peculiar behavior.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Wipe away your particular form of behavior.
Right. And opinions and ideas.
And wipe away.
Okay.
And the children, mother wipes away, and the teacher wipes away, then we can work together.
Right.
That is, I drink, I smoke, I take drugs. I want my own delights, I have my own peculiar...
You're a little kitty and I have to teach you, or whatever. Right. Yeah.
And the teacher, and you as a teacher say, sorry, that's all garbage, throw it out. And I can't give it up. This is the position we are in. Each of us carries certain kind of garbage, if you like to use that word, and we refuse to throw away the garbage.
Oh, right.
But that if we are concerned with the child, with a different, bringing about a different kind of human being, concerned, then I will throw away my garbage instantly. I won't be bothered with the garbage. But my intention is to...
Okay, but wait, it's a little more complicated. How I find is if one can throw off some, I'm just trying to go with direct experience. If one can throw off some...
I want the extremes. I don't want to be mediocre, keep a little bit of garbage for myself and throw away.
No, but that's too moralistic or puritanical.
No, that's not puritanical. No, I refuse to be categorized.
Please let me say, because the phenomenon I find is that one is able to throw off some of the garbage, then they get in, they interact with other people, and something happens in that thing that helps you throw off some more.
So, if I want to throw away my little bit of my garbage, I do throw away a little bit. You will regard me a little bit of a crank.
Crank?
Crank, a little bit odd. If I don't drink, if I don't smoke, if I don't take drugs, if I don't chase girls, follow.
Okay.
Say, poor chap, what's wrong with this man?
But let me say my point. I mean, I'm just trying to go with experience. It's not a point, I'm just trying to refer to experience. If one throws off some of the stuff, and if that's all that happens, usually it just comes back. But if one throws off some of the stuff and then gets in a circumstance with the child or with the school or anything where there's some dissolving happens, then some experiences happen that make one throw off some more.
Yes, sir. But are we willing, or we aware of the garbage that we have collected?
Well, okay. What I find is, if you become aware of some of it,
But do it, sir. Not if.
but it's a grand.
Not if. Theoretically, it's no meaning. Or we are.
I'm talking about direct experience that I've had. So it's not theoretical. I'm saying you throw off some, and then.
Sir, we are doing the same. Have we parents who are concerned with the children and so on? Are we first of all aware of our garbage, or do we say it's perfectly all right? Or are we aware of our garbage? Are we aware that there must be some of it must go, or all of it must go? Do we want that?
I mean, I guess you have to ask everybody.
And I mean, that is the problem. The garbage is, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Protestant, I'm a this, I'm that, and I must have smoked whiskey, this and that. That's my garbage.
Right.
And how will you let all that go to create this? That's it. None of us are willing to do that. Don't want to face this thing. We want to keep our little garbage to ourselves.
Well, it's even a question of just not knowing sometimes what is garbage and what isn't.
Garbage is garbage, so it smells. You don't have to.
But the garbage you mentioned is smoking, drinking, bad eating.
No, that's very small stuff. That's
Right, those are very easy things to see. You can look and you say, okay, I've been raised a Catholic, I don't want it any. But most of the garbage isn't that, it's much more subtle.
it's much more subtle, much more deep.
That's the problem.
Wait, but first of all, have we even discarded, dissolved, put aside the superficial garbage? Then we can proceed to the other. But holding on to the superficial garbage and trying to go into this becomes rather silly. So let's come back. I don't want to become a puritanical tyrant about all this, but I'm just saying, what shall we do? Here is a problem. The parent is conditioned, if you don't like to use that word conditioned, has collected a lot of garbage because he's educated that way. The mother is educated, she has got her garbage. And the educator has his. And you have children. What shall we do?
See it so clearly. See it so clearly that we don't want the garbage. That we get rid of the garbage. That we see it and we want to see it and we keep on seeing it. And we're aware and we're more aware. And we're more sensitive. And then we get rid of more garbage and we're more sensitive. And we're seeing it and we're feeling it. And we want to be in relationship with that child. Or we want to be in relationship with each other.
But what happens?
We put it in order.
Yes, sir, what happens?
And we get some energy. And then maybe we see more.
Yes, sir, but what happens? You are trying to get rid of the garbage.
Yes.
I, an educator, am not clear what the garbage is in myself.
Yes.
And together, we are helping the child not to collect garbage. Right? What should we do? Actually, sir, don't theorize about it. I've thrown off a great deal of garbage. Sorry to use that word. It's rather an ugly word. Great deal of this rubbish I've collected. And the educator is not aware of it even. You understand, sir?
Not aware
Of the garbage, the rubbish is collected. So there is, and we have the child. What I'm asking, how do you deal with this problem? Not theoretically, but actually. You've got a school, you've got a parent, you've got an educator, and children.
So can we deal with anything other than what there is right now here? And the very fact that we are raising this question and trying to throw away garbage or whatever it's called at this time, is the very thing which we can face. This one thing, in the very present time, right now, this very one thing that I want to grasp, what are these garbages, what are these things in my mind which I want to throw away? So what I can face is my very present wanting of doing something.
Yes, sir, but what I'm asking is this. Is the parent, the teacher, not the child yet, is too small, are they prepared to help each other to throw away some of the rubbish?
in this school?
This is the school. Here we are.
No.
You mean you don't want to?
No. You said, are they prepared to? And I say, no.
That just it.
Because there is no need for preparation. We either do it now, and we do it the next time, and we go home and we do it there, and we keep throwing away. The only thing which can throw away is what there is right now. That's the only thing we can face. We cannot face what we are going to do with the children, or what we have done with the children.
So let's make it much simpler. Are you prepared? I'm not asking you, sir, personally. Are we prepared, because we are responsible for the children, not to throw on them our rubbish, which we have collected? Are we prepared, you as the parent, I as the educator, together help each other to throw away rubbish which we have collected? Now, today, this morning. If not, as the educator, as the parent, we are going to help that boy or girl to collect rubbish. So are we this morning, parents, teachers, prepared to say, well, my rubbish is this, help me to clear it out? That's why I say, you're conditioned, the child is conditioned, which is the rubbish, garbage, and the educator is conditioned. So we say, I'm conditioned, you're conditioned. Let's talk about it, let's go into it. Wipe it out as we go along. Not take hours, days, months, years. Wipe it out as we go along. Are you prepared for it? Do you want this? Not a group therapy. That's an abomination.
But if you want it, sir, I think you have to face not only that rubbish, but right after it, your own wanting.
Huh?
This very urge, what may come up while we are talking.
We'll do that now, sir.
Okay.
Are we prepared for it? All together. You can't. It's a family, it's a collective thing, this. If you're going to, in a family, if the mother says, I'm not prepared to throw away my rubbish, and the father says, I'm doing it, there's going to be a battle.
Can you explain how this can be done without getting into a group therapy?
I'll show you. First of all, it is simple, I'll show you. You can do it, but are we prepared to do it? Or we are holding back a little bit of the garbage you collected? I want my children, in quotes, I want my children not to collect garbage of any kind. The Indian garbage, the Hindu garbage, the Catholic garbage, the American, you follow? I don't want him to have any garbage so that he can flower in goodness, in beauty, something worthwhile. So, are we prepared for this? If you are, then our question is, first, are we aware of the garbage? If I was this, if I'm an educator, or you are the parent, I say, in the school I say, look, I want to, in discussing, become aware of my garbage, you follow? In having a dialogue with you, a conversation with you, I become aware of this collection of rubbish I've gathered. Can we do that? Parent and the teacher. This is what our position is now. I happen to be the teacher, the educator, and you happen to be the children, or vice versa, it doesn't matter.
That seems to imply a certain kind of bluntness that I'm not sure people are...
What, sir?
It seems to imply a certain kind of bluntness.
Blankness?
Blunt, directness, that I'm not sure people are...
No, not brutal directness, but, two friends who are concerned about something and they will discuss it.
In organizations, there seems to be a lot of fear.
We're not, so there is nothing to be afraid in this organization because there is nothing here, just beginning. You see, you're all escaping. You don't face the thing and say, look, I've got garbage, let's talk about it, let's have a dialogue, see if we can put aside some of it. One of the garbages, sir, is having opinions. Right?
Right.
What the school should be, what, etc., etc. Opinions, which have nothing to do with fact. Right? Now, can you throw away opinions and face absolutely all the time facts?
Sometimes it's hard to...
No, not hard. I'm not...
No, not to throw away, but to know. I mean, most people take their opinions as being fact.
No, unless you are neurotic.
Well, then there are a lot of neurotics.
Then quite a different
So
problem.
how do you know?
Then it's quite a different problem. You know what opinion is? Coming to a conclusion about something you know nothing about.
No, I don't accept that. I'm sorry. There are vegetarians who say you must be a vegetarian. But there's facts on both sides. And
I'm not, wait,
one
I
way or
know,
another.
please. First of all, I'm not talking about vegetarians, non-vegetarians. I'm talking about you or X here in this room having opinions, which are part of the garbage. Saying that school must be this, or why do you wear blue trousers, whatever it is. Opinions. Don't you have a collection of opinions? Political opinions, religious opinions. Can we discard them? Which means also judgment. I prefer this guru to that guru. That's a judgment.
Well, if I share my garbage, I'm afraid that I'm going to be judged.
No. Who cares? If you judge me because I throw away my garbage and call me loony, bit off his head, I don't care. I know what. I'm not afraid of you calling me nutty or whatever you call me. I don't mind because I know facts. I'm only dealing with facts, nothing else. So look, if I am envious, I know I'm envious, right? That's part of the garbage. I don't find explanation or evasions or avoidance of the fact. I say, yes, I am greedy, envious. Then we can deal with, you can tackle it together. But if you say, well, I'm not quite sure I'm envious, I like being envious. Our whole society is based on that principle. No? So, will you face that fact that you are envious? You know, it's a very complex problem, envy. It isn't just, it's a deep-rooted problem. Envy implies the whole idea of progress. I don't know. No? Reaching something because others have reached. Envy implies imitation, conformity, all that's involved in envy. So can we become aware of that and go into it and wipe it out, not play with it or everlastingly? Then I will deal with my student quite differently. I will tell him if I can argue with him, because we have got two small children, you can't argue. But as they grow up, I'll discuss with them the whole problem. I know what it means to be envy. You're envious. Let's discuss about it. Let's talk about it. See what is implied in it. What envy has done in the world. The whole commercial world is envious, is based on envy, right? You don't see all this. Consumerism is that. And also, if you want to go in much more deeply into the whole problem, if I am a parent. I love my children, right? I think I do. I'm not going to say, yes, I love my children. I think I do. What does it mean? What does it actually mean? Not theoretically, not what I would like it to mean, but actually in daily life, what does it mean? I spoil them. At first, their toys, their dolls, you follow? All that business goes on. And I love them. Do you? Do we? Do you think if we love them, the society would be like this? Yes, sir, that's what I'm saying. Are we, as educators, as parents, are we really concerned with this thing? And it's my job and your job to see we are concerned. As a human being, I am concerned. That's why I hope the school will be something different. I don't want my children to grow up, take drugs, and all the rest on one side, or go off with some guru, become caught in his absurdities, or end up as a soldier to be killed. You follow? You don't. I'm afraid with us, this lack of, it is mediocrity that prevents us having passion about this. So, sir, let's begin again. What shall we do? Together we're going to build this school. Together we are going to help each other and the children, students, to see that they are not mediocre.
So could we go further into this question of the relationship between the people who are concerned, supposedly concerned with the school? I think the easier questions are the questions of how to deal with the children, how to deal with mediocrity, etc. But the deeper, it seems to me, the deeper question is this feeling of working at this together. What are the relationships between the people who are responsible?
Look, Markley, you and I are working together, right? So we are actually working together. What's your relationship? Actually, not fictitiously or romantically or ideologically, but actually what's our, how do we listen to each other? If
We listen.
do we? I'm taking the other thing. Do we actually listen to each other? Or I listen to you with my opinions about you going on. You follow?
But we do explore these things.
We're
we
doing.
explore this thing of listening with or without opinion.
We are doing that now. How do you listen to me and how do I listen to you? Do you listen to me at all? Do I listen to you at all? Or I have an opinion about you, which I haven't got. Suppose if I have an opinion about you, what happens? That opinion is always distorting what you're saying. That you are the head of the school, but you must be careful. I want my children here, therefore I can't offend him. I must play up to him a little bit. If all that's going on, my trickery going on, and I say, yes, I'm listening to you very much.
So that, in many cases, is very evident.
Yes, sir.
If I'm listening to you, and these are the things going on inside of you, they become apparent in your voice, in your face, in the words you use. And if I'm direct with you or honest with you, if we have a relationship, then we can discuss that.
That's right. So we say, look, my friend, we are both concerned about the school, about the children. Cut out all that rubbish. And let's discuss, have a dialogue about it together. Conversation. That conversation demands certain care, certain understanding of words, the actual meaning of words. Not, I would like, if I use the word love and you have a different significance and I have different significance, we're off. So there is not only verbal understanding, clarity of words which we use, and also there must be a certain affection between us, a care. That you mean what I say, that I mean what I say, therefore out of that there is respect, affection to each other. Will we do all this? No, that's why it's become so utterly meaningless.
Can I say something? I'm just talking from experience. The way I see to get rid of all the rubbish is just do it with experience. What's happening here is some of the times I was thinking about things in my own mind, it seemed that not to have mediocre children, you can't be mediocre yourself. And if you really love them, that means you don't want to be mediocre. Therefore, you can't be mediocre yourself. Therefore, not to be mediocre yourself, you have to see all this stuff. Once you see it, it dissolves. Now, you're here, I have rapport with you, and my wife's right here, who I greatly love. And the thing I'm working on, which I just tuned out of this meeting, was money. And so what came over to me was, your children are going to be mediocre if you're mediocre, or at least you're going to condition them, so probably they're going to be. So I just went at the money thing. Does that make any sense? Did you understand what I'm saying?
Not quite.
I got rid of the money thing.
Huh?
I got rid of the money thing. See, I had all this thing, you have to have a big house so I can come to Ojai and come to the Krishnamurti school. You know, American, we have to have the big house and the cars and everything. Well, I just threw it out.
All right. Then?
Well, we're not going to have it.
No, sir. Proceed. Go on with that.
Well, it's simple. I mean, we don't need all this money. We need a certain amount of money.
Yes,
We have to have good
yeah,
food, and we have to be
understood.
close to the school. But I don't need 3 cars and a big house with a swimming
I understand
pool.
that. So what from there, next step? What is the next
Well,
step?
I just go out and I don't, well, I mean,
No.
you wanted that specific? I'm in all this real estate empire. I'll just go out and dismantle it.
No, sir, but you're not. All right, you've got rid of certain garbage.
Right, that's all I was saying. Yeah.
Then what? What happens then?
Well, what happens is I had a lot of tension from the money, and I'm going to have the tension. Like this morning, I get up, the kids are drinking grape juice, I'm drinking coffee. They say, no, our grape juice is coffee. It's, why do I drink coffee, caffeine? Why am I up late at night? Because I'm worried about the money, we're going to throw it out. Am I making any sense?
Not quite, sir.
Well, maybe I should just make a simple statement. I just went at the money thing and got rid of it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I get rid of money. The desire for the big house, not money, desire for big house, cars. You see the futility of that kind of action.
Right, and the tension it
Yes,
gives.
but does it awaken in you a resistance, a tension? No.
Now, I've been through that, the debate, you shouldn't have the car. We got to have the car because we got to go to Ojai and all this stuff. No, that discussion ended.
Then what is the issue, sir?
Pardon?
Then what is the issue?
There wasn't any issue, I just explained to you the experience. Oh, yeah, that you were helpful, my wife was helpful. I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying.
What are you talking about, sir?
No, I'm being honest. You're laughing, you
I
understand?
think he's saying he had an insight into money, the need for money. Maybe.
I understand, madam. From then what? Proceed from there. Don't
okay.
Don't stop?
Don't stop. Well, don't stop at coffee. Go on.
Get rid of it all.
No, don't. Look, sir, we're talking of something which is, are we prepared as educators, parents, to be aware of the garbage that we have collected, the garbage which has been handed down through parents' education past? Are we aware of those movements of collection of garbages? Are we aware of them? That's what Mark Lee and we're talking. I'm asking him, and he's asking me, as two friends who are intent on something, on this school. You cannot create a good, first class, a school that has never been in existence before. If you have garbage and I have garbage, right? We both acknowledge that fact. Then next question is fact. Are you aware of the garbage? The things that you have collected? And am I aware of, etc.? To what extent? You follow? To what extent are you aware of this collection? Money, you follow? Superficial things, or aware much more profoundly? How will you find out whether you are aware superficially or profoundly, deeply? Oh, so dialogue. This is what I mean. A dialogue between you and the educator. You are the student, and I'm not your teacher, but I happen to be an educator for the time being. And I said, let's talk about this. Let's expose to each other. Not in the group sense. Let's discuss it.
I noticed some of my rubbish has certain effects, and these effects, my attitudes, my words,
yes, I understand.
my opinions will immediately be challenged or be obvious to other people.
No, I'm not talking about us. Are you aware of the garbage collection, that which you have collected and you handed down to you and so on? Or to what extent are you aware? And to what depth are you aware of this? Because if you are aware superficially, your deeper layers of collection will infect the children. Whether you want it or not, it will, bound to. Like a disease. Right? So, is Mark Lee aware superficially or deeply?
So he has to really go further in his mind after he realizes, and that needs clarification, when he realizes that he has garbage, this realization takes place by forming a new center in the mind.
No, I'm going to show you, sir. No, if you want to get rid of one set of garbage and collect another set of garbage, you're not getting rid of any garbage.
Yes, but I think it's essential, at least it takes place in my mind, the realization that I do form a new center. For me, going further in the question of collecting garbage is, what does this collection really mean? How does it take place? That's my next question.
We'll discuss, we are doing it now. How does it take place?
At one level it takes place by forming another center, which now I have to face that also.
No, sir. How does, forget the center. Forget the center. You as a human being, how did this garbage, collection of garbage come about? Rubbish. How did it come about?
By not disposing them at the time when there was something to look at.
No, sir. No.
By memorizing things which remained a residue in my mind from previous sections.
Not, sir, didn't your parents give you some of that rubbish?
Definitely they have.
Didn't society give you some of that rubbish?
Yes.
The environment gave you some of that rubbish? And you yourself collected some rubbish? So, who's responsible for this?
not pointing the way. That
Remember,
I am correct.
parents, society, neighbors, so what? Who gave it to you?
Who gave it to me?
Huh? Who gave you this collection?
The environment of
Which is what? The world around you. Huh? Right. Are you different from the world? When you are the result?
No, I am not aware of
Mm.
statements associated with it. Yes, I am not different.
So you are not different from the, you are the result of all this.
Yes.
Hmm? Now, are you aware it is a result?
But you see, all these questions...
No, I'm using the word carefully. Listen to it, sir. Are you aware that you are, this collection is a result? Hmm? Therefore, it must have a cause. Right? Right?
Yes.
Are you aware of the cause?
Yes.
Oh, no, what is the cause? Why? You see, you say I'm responsible for the collection, my parents, the education that I've had, the college, the university, the society, the neighbor, which is the world around you, the culture, all that's the world around you, that has helped you to collect all this. So you are the result of all this, right? You are a result. Therefore, there is a cause for this result, or causes. What are those causes?
As far as you let me, I can say only one thing, that myself is
No,
right now in this moment.
so yourself is the result of all this.
Right. But the causes we already went through, those questions you raised, are all the causes, my parents, my environment, and so on and so on.
We said that. So you are a result of all this. Mm-hmm. When there is a result which is the effect, there must be a cause. What is the cause of human beings which have created this mess around us?
Fear.
Huh?
Fear.
No, little, go into it slowly.
The mechanical way the mind works.
What do you want most?
So you unfortunately asked
No. Fundamentally, deeply, what is the cause of all this? Which means, what do the human beings deeply want, crave? Huh?
Security.
Yes, isn't it? They want security. Both physiologically, psychologically, and if I may use the word spiritually. Right? Right? So, moment you want security, you must have this garbage. Right? So one has to go into the question of security. One must have security physically, right? Clothes, food, that's house, money. One must have it, otherwise you can't function. But is there any other form of security? Huh? No, but yet you want it. The churches have offered it, priests have offered it, the modern gurus are offering it. Books are offering So psychologically, inwardly, can you be free of all security? Which means dependence on wife and husband. So, you understand how complex this problem is, sir? So, how are we going to help the child?
The same way as you are doing right now, because through your questioning, I have reached, through your questioning of me, I have reached that in very quotes, conclusion, you and together we may have done something. For me, I've seen things.
That is, a conclusion is a
No,
security.
I wasn't saying that word.
Conclusion is a opinion is a security. Judgment is a security. Imitation is a security. Conformity to a pattern is security. Inwardly, psychologically. Following authority, guru. The whole thing is that. Demanding security and creating that which gives you security. I create the guru because I want security. I created Jesus in Christian world because I want security from him. I created the priest who says, I'll help you, I'll be the intermediary between you and God. So can I help my child never to have this burden of thing called security which is non-existent? You understand, sir?
Several times I understood.
So what shall I do? In a school, what shall we do? How shall we? You and I understand the depth of this demand for security. Now the child wants security, right? He must have it, right? Because if he doesn't find it at home, he'll find it in a drug. He'll find it in guru. You understand, sir? Or in a commune, run away. So how will you, the parent and the educator, convey this to the student? And see that he doesn't have it. Then he's a free man, he's a marvelous man. The people who seek security are the mediocre people. So what shall we do? Mark Lee, as a teacher, and here are other teachers, how shall we set about to help this student about this particular issue? I'm taking one. Let's stick to that. One issue.
All of these people have to really understand the details, the subtleties of security.
True. First, that means you and I must understand it.
Right.
Live it. Go into it.
Because in fact there is no approach to the child. That is, there is no way to say this is how we will deal with it.
No. So you and I help each other out to see the meaning of it, the depth of it, and be free of it.
Which doesn't mean that once we understood, we bring it over to the child and try to relate based on what we once came upon. But we redo it once more and once more with the child in his language.
Look, so we suppose 10 of us understood this. We create the right environment, don't we? Psychologically. Because I don't see. I wonder if we see this. when we see that there is no security, deeply, and the child who wants security must have security, protection. What is your relationship to him then? You understand?
How do I react?
No, listen carefully, sir. Listen carefully. You and few of us have gone into this question of security, which is, you are the result of the world, right? The result implies the effect. The cause is, what is the cause? Human beings want psychological security, right? Psychological security, more than physical security. Therefore, you understand, when I demand more psychological security, then status becomes important, and all the rest of it. So if you and a few of us understand the depth of this thing, how shall we deal with the child who must have security?
Who must have psychological security?
Psychological, physiological, every form of security. How will you deal with that child?
He must have psychological security which doesn't exist.
No, you and I have understood that. Understood it and live it and gone into it. You and I have understood it. And there is the child who says, for God's sake, I must have security. What will you do? What is your relationship with this student, with the child? You understand my question? Martley, you understand my question? So how do you answer this?
Once it's understood, and I re-understood at the case when the child raises the question, you bring its own reaction from me toward the child, which I didn't know at this time. It will depend on the actual situation, how the child raises this question.
No, sir, you're not answering.
By constantly living now, by knowing by exploring together how to deal with the immediate.
No, that poor child can't discuss with him, right?
But by our actions together.
There's no together. You're missing my. The child wants security, right? Right, sir?
Yes.
He must have it.
Any more than we must have it.
No.
Tendency also is to want and demand security.
Look, sir, you and I have talked about it.
Yes.
You and I have seen the meaning of it, the quality of it. And you and I psychologically are working away this garbage which you have collected as security. Trees, trunks, security, opinions, judgments, going dependent on someone, and so on. Now I'm asking you, how will you deal with a child who must have security?
If you deal on the same level,
No, you are not.
then you won't see a difference. You won't want to go on.
You're not even.
Don't you just give them that security?
So the word that seems to be confusing is the word must.
Must in self, if the child doesn't have security,
Right.
it goes to pieces.
Right.
Is it one of the causes of neuroticism?
Right.
One of the causes of running away from home?
Right. So you must make him feel secure.
How will you do it? You, not being free psychologically of security, how will you help that child to be secure?
Especially in view of the fact that the security doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
But it can for him.
Oh, you poor chap, for God's sake, what's the matter?
Well, wait, you're saying there is no psychological security. How can one give that if it doesn't exist?
But he wants it. mother, the baby wants mother, clings to her skirts and follows needs. What are you? Haven't you got children? Haven't you got children? Don't you know how they depend on you?
Yeah, yes.
Huh?
For a child, it's normal to be dependent when they're little. For an adult, it's a lack of...
It's immaturity. Now, how will you deal with the immature, you being mature? You understand my question, sir? Huh?
How does the mature deals with immature?
Look, I am psychologically free of security. I know I am, personally. Not dependence of, etc., etc. And I have a son, a boy, a student. How shall I help him to feel completely secure with me? You understand? Because he needs it.
You're gentle?
Huh?
You're gentle?
No, be careful, sir. I want to go into this. Go slowly with me. Go slowly with me. I see the need. You know, sir, they have found, if you read that strange book, Mind in the Waters, they have found that the whales, because they're such enormous animals, nothing can, except human beings, nothing can destroy them. You understand? The deep layer, except human beings have destroyed 50 millions of them. Appalling. So they have an extraordinary mind. You understand? Because they are secure. And psychologically being free from security, there is tremendous security. I wonder if you see this. Do you understand this? I have before found security in the priest, suppose. And I suddenly find how absurd that is. Huh? Isn't that? So I'm secure.
So are you saying then that the only security is in attention to the real, then?
Security, no, when I examine security and see the falseness of it, there is intelligence. That intelligence doesn't demand security, it's secure in itself. Huh? Right, sir? So how shall I convey this to the child who needs protection, care, security, all the rest of it?
Doing nothing but what you are doing right now, but with the child. And that brings love and passion.
Wait, you're too quick, sir, you're too quick. You're adding, you're jumping. What does it mean? Look, sir, the boy, the student wants security, right? He must have it. He climbs a tree, right? And he might fall down, right? And break his leg. Now, how will you deal? Please listen. How will you deal with it, that child? You being supremely intelligent in the sense we are using that word intelligence, which in itself is completely secure. Because intelligence is secure. not the dependence on something which gives you security. Right? You have understood that? So, how will you deal with that child who climbs a tree and might break his neck, fall down? You want him to be secure. He needs secure. You follow? Well, how will you deal with him? Beat him up? Scold him? Don't do it. Get irritated with him. I'm asking you, get irritated with him, scold him, say never go near the tree. What will you do? How will you deal with this?
I would do two things. First of all, I would discuss with him the dangers of climbing a tree, and I would teach him how to climb a tree.
Wait, all right. Those go much deeper than that. Oh boy, go on, you're not.
You could carry this into any situation. The child's up the tree, he knows how to climb it, right? We don't have to teach him how to climb it.
He might go and play with a rattler. Don't take an incident. Say, how will you deal with a boy or a girl who is mischievous, who is naughty, who is placed with dangerously? How will you deal with him? What do you do in daily life, sir?
Constantly pointing that out to him.
Huh?
Constantly pointing that out to him.
But he goes on doing it.
Maybe. But the only thing I can do is be completely myself in that situation, telling him...
Not yourself. What do you mean yourself?
See the circumstance in which I find the harmony, part of which he is.
No, say, you don't go through all this process, do you?
Well, you react there mostly instantly.
You are missing my point, sir. Come on, Markley, how do you answer this? You don't spoil him, right?
No, but I have a relationship with him.
You have understood. Begin with the question that you are out of this out of the desire for security, and you have found what it means. You have an insight into it. That insight is intelligence, and that intelligence says there is no security on board. So that intelligence is itself marvelous, right? Right? You have understood that. Now, you have to deal with this child who is mischievous, naughty, etc., and needs security. How will you deal with him? That's your problem, you understand, sir? In your daily life, when you have got to school, how are you going to deal with it?
You extend to the child your idea of security in a sense. He's in a situation where his idea of security is really extreme, like he's scared of breaking
Yes, poor chap, he needs it.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's right at the focal point of what he considers security. You must deal with the situation where you extend to him your idea of security.
You got it.
And you don't panic, you'll just normally act and mend the leg.
No, I'll show it to you in a minute. So you're not facing the issue. You've got theories about it. You understand my question, sir? He needs security. He needs your protection. He needs your care. And he may depend on your care, on your protection, on taking all for granted. How will you help him to see the importance of what you're in this? Help him. Are you lost?
No, I'm right there.
Huh?
I'm right there.
Are you lost? Because you don't know how to deal with this. You have theories how you deal with it. You are dealing with it according to your old tradition. You're missing my point.
You don't know. Maybe that the case is artificially created here, but I cannot now, this time, how I will deal with a child in a situation, because I don't know all the circumstances of the situation. I'm facing myself right with the child at that moment, and what maybe if it's...
That's not a sir. You've got a school. You've got a school. You've got 60 children, 50 or 10 or so many students. This is a problem, right? They want to go to minor soak, they want to do everything what the others are doing. Because they find in that security, right? They don't want to be different. That's how Hitler, all his youth movement, all the communist youth movement, you follow? It's all based on this principle. Catholic, you follow? It's based on all the principle of don't be alone, it's fearful, be together. You understand? So he finds security. He needs to say, how will you deal with this? May I go into it a little bit? First of all, what actually takes place when you have inquired very deeply into this question of security. Need physical security, you must have it, right? And security means dependence, etc., etc., etc. If we have wiped away all that garbage, all that collection, what is the state of your mind?
There's a great deal of clarity.
Huh?
Right? If you act from clarity, if you're very clear.
No, please, not you will act. Are you doing it? For God's sake.
But that's it.
No, that's not it.
No?
No, because you are still seeking security psychologically, aren't you?
Are you asking me personally?
No, I'm not.
So, I mean, if you're not, you have the clarity.
If you are not, you have no clarity. Either clarity is like that clarity of the sun. Clarity, please. If one is not gone into this question of security and all the infantile, stupid things involved in it, and if you have gone into it, there is this extraordinary quality of intelligence, right? It's intelligence that says to you, that's rubbish. Not reason, not argumentation. The very observation of it is intelligence which says that's rubbish. So you have that intelligence which is not book learning, all that. Now what takes place? I meet that child who wants security, right? He needs it. From what source are you giving him security? You understand my question now? What is the source? From what depth are you giving it to him?
From that intelligence.
Huh?
From that intelligence.
From that intelligence. Follow it up. From that intelligence. No, please don't. Unless you do this, you will go off on some superficial thing. From that intelligence you'll act. What does that mean? What does intelligence mean? It's love, compassion, right? Isn't it? not being compassionate, you'd act on the child. But if you are compassionate, that compassion acts, not your judgment, evaluations, all the rest of it. Have you got it, sir?
You don't give love, but love gives and love acts.
You people don't. If you haven't come to that fact that there is no psychological security at all, which can only happen when there is intelligence. It's stupid to go to a priest, right? It's stupid to go to a guru, to depend on somebody. Because in all those things you're seeking security. Drugs, this or that, and 10 different things. So your observation without judgment is intelligence, isn't it? Huh? So intelligence is not intellectual, rationalized collection of ideas, right? So it's intelligence. Now you will deal with the child from that, not from your collection. I mean, are we prepared to go so far as that? You understand, sir? As a parent, as a teacher, as etc. Are we prepared to go to such lengths in our lives, you follow? Most people go a little way and get frightened and say, oh, for God's sake, instead of going to that guru, I'll go to somebody else. You follow, sir? We are saying the abandonment of all gurus, which means all authority. Because in authority we seek security. And so we create the authority. You understand? When each person in America behaves righteously, you don't have to have a government. Because we are not behaving righteously, we have a government. It's such a fact. Right? We better stop, it's 1 o'clock. We meet tomorrow, don't we?